right. Hi, guys. How's it going? Thank you so much for coming. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit today. The name of my presentation is So You Think You Can Speak, How to Land a Speaking Gig at Any Conference for Free. It's really great to see everyone, but first of all, I want you guys to give yourselves a round of applause for attending a blockchain event in a bear market, okay? You guys are the real MVPs. Look at you here at 11 a.m. in the morning, okay? I think it's 11 a.m. I don't even know what time it is. Ooh, there's my gin and tonic. That's perfect. All right, yes, okay. So, all right, I hope it's okay that nobody else is doing a gin and tonic right now. All right. I guess I should give a little bit of background about myself. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Stephanie Simon, and as Brendan and Steve mentioned, I'm one of the co-founders and co-CEOs of Tokenomics. We put on an event in Chiang Mai last year. It was awesome, and I'm really excited to be here. We have some amazing stuff planned for you guys these next 2 days. Some great keynotes, some awesome panels, 2 more open bar parties. Basically, our strategy for Kara and I was to just get you guys wasted this whole time so that you say really nice things about us. So that's the goal. But I digress. Okay, so back to my background. I guess I should start at the beginning. It all started one chilly afternoon on October 1st, 1988. That's me. And guys, I still have like an irrational fear of the Easter Bunny. That's a true story. But fast forward to April 17th, 2018, my co-founder and other half, Kara, and I, we launched the first Tokenomics in Chiang Mai, Thailand, and it was successful enough, and we had enough fun with it that we were crazy enough to want to do it again, so here we are. And that's basically it. That's my whole life story. That's all you guys need to know regarding my background. But on a serious note, I've had the opportunity to attend a lot of events this past year in the blockchain space, and have probably been pitched countless times by people wanting to speak at Tokenomics. And there are some people that have done this very, very well, so well, in fact, that they are going to be speaking on our stage these next 2 days. And then there are some people that I think had good intentions, but maybe did something that might have accidentally botched it for them. And so I wanted to offer up some best practices and tips on how you can basically land that first speaking gig. So who this talk is for, if you are an A-lister that gets a bunch of invites to speak all the time, this talk is not really for you. This is more for new up-and-coming blockchain projects, people that are trying to grow their personal brand and break into the space. I want to say that there is a place for new people because it's really unrealistic that a conference is going to have all A-listers. So there's definitely a spot for you. So let's go ahead and get started. And yeah, this is for the noob. How to land your first gig. I'm going to break up this presentation into 3 parts. So best practices for before the event, during the event, and then after the event. So shall we get started? Yes? Okay. I'm going to have another drink. Okay. Okay, let's get started. So basically, if I approach you and I ask you, why are you the most qualified person to give this talk? You should have a very clear answer for this. Maybe it's, and you want to do this before you start pitching anybody. Basically, I need to know why someone else couldn't give it. Is it because you are doing something really innovative on a platform? Or do you have an interesting perspective to bring to the space? Do you have a case study that you've recently completed that you can add value to the attendees with? Why you? So you definitely want to get clear on that. And then another thing I like to recommend to people is to actually build a speaker website. And I'm going to walk you through some of the elements that you should have on your speaker website by actually showing an example from one of our own speakers, Miko Matsumura. So I hope that's okay, Miko. Are you in here somewhere? I'm about to go through your website. Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay, cool. So first things first, great domain name, by the way. That's really good. But if you go to miko.com, right away, above the fold is this really awesome eye-catching imagery. And as an organizer, I'm immediately impressed. He's got all of his titles and everything listed. You can learn more about him, and then a button about how you can get in touch with him easily. So very, very, very convenient. Right underneath that, he walks you through his different roles as a venture capitalist, as an entrepreneur, as a token advisor, as a speaker. This is awesome for conference organizers because we like to see speakers that are really well-rounded and can speak on a variety of things. This allows us to have flexibility within our own agendas. So it's really, really great that he has that. And then right underneath that, he has a section where he shows you an interview that he did with Business Insider. So you have that immediate social validation. Now, if you are new to the space and you don't have Business Insider like knocking on your door trying to interview you, what you can do in the meantime is find someone that's doing a podcast in the blockchain space. There's lots of upcoming podcasts that are happening. Do a podcast interview, maybe showcase a lengthy Medium post that you've written. Basically, we just want to see that you can speak eloquently on the issue that we're thinking of having you speak on. And just have that there until a better opportunity comes around. In fact, I know people that are running podcasts in this audience right now, so this conference could be where you book your first interview. And then finally, he has his bio, which is really, really convenient because you can just copy and paste that. There's nothing more annoying for conference organizers than when we have to chase up our speakers for their bios and their headshots. So this is nice. We can just copy and paste right there. And speaking of headshots, so obviously this is a very famous blockchainer, Ryan Gosling. I know he's ended up on a lot of ICO websites, so he gets around. But as you can see, these pictures are very, very different. You want clean, professional imagery. We shouldn't be embarrassed to put your photo up on our website. We do Google people when we invite you to speak. And sometimes you'll send us images and you'll be like, yeah, this is the one, use this. And we're like, we are not using this. So then we'll Google and we'll pick our own. And I've seen people, usually women sometimes on Telegram, they'll put up glamour shots, a bit risque at times. And don't get me wrong, I'm all for the sexy photos, okay? Just got on Tinder 2 weeks ago, so I'm working on my selfie game, but there is a time and a place for that. So when we Google you, you do want to have some great photos up, and then also, the second image of Ryan Gosling, no busyness in the background. Fun fact, actually really hard to find a bad picture of Ryan Gosling on the internet. This took a little bit of digging, but I made it happen. In general, the speaker website is just to make it super easy for us. If we have all the information in one place, we're less likely to go digging. The more digging we do, the more likely we are to find some weird shit. So just make it really easy on us, and that's all we want. Okay, another thing to keep in mind is that timing is everything. I've had so many people approach me at an event and they don't even know me, and then pitch me at speaking at the conference. There is an art to this. Basically, if you want to speak at a conference and you see the conference organizer at a party or something like that and you don't know who they are, do not just immediately walk up to them and start pitching them on speaking. It's basic networking 101, but you'd be surprised how many times when I introduce myself as the founder of tokenomics, I immediately get a pitch where someone says, here's why you need me on your stage. And this is a bit of a turnoff. Really what they should be doing is they should be using that event as an opportunity to lay the foundation for a relationship and kind of get to know me a little bit, or whichever founder they're courting. Ask me questions about the event. Ask me questions about the attendees that will be there. drink with me, party with me. I could be a good time when I have a few gin and tonics. So, and then once I know, like, and trust you, that's when the next day you follow up on like Telegram or email. And this next slide, I'm going to provide a template that you can use that works really well for a variety of reasons. But basically, I'll read it out. It says, "Hey, Steph, I noticed your tokenomics conference is coming up in a few months in Chiang Mai. I have a presentation about Mimble-Wimble that I think your attendees would get a ton of value out of. I was curious if you had started taking proposals for presenters yet. Thanks, Kanye," which is a very common name in the industry. So, this is good for a few reasons. Reason number one is, obviously, they did their research. They know when the event is happening and where it's happening, so that's good. 2, it's short and to the point, easy to respond to. 3, they're not telling me why they're the best speaker and why I need them on the stage. And I would just add maybe a PS and include that link to your speaker website so that, we get like the whole picture. And then you want to make sure that you follow up. So the first follow-up should be maybe a few days after, the second one a week later, and then the third one, you want to wait a little bit closer to the event because a few weeks before the event is when something like a speaker might cancel last minute, which is, you definitely don't want to do that, but it does happen every once in a while, and so an opportunity could arise for you to join the speaking roster. In general, though, I would say that the early bird gets the worm. So the sooner that you can approach a conference founder, if it's like 6 months out, we have all the speaking slots in the world. We're like Oprah. It's like, you get a speaking slot, and you get a speaking slot, and you get a speaking slot. And it's a really good time to call dibs. So in general, you want to try to get in as soon as you can. But every once in a while, the answer will be no. And the best thing that you can do is just not take this personally. Don't kick up a fuss about it and just be gracious. There's a variety of reasons why the answer could be no, and it's nothing necessarily against you. It could just be that we've already got someone speaking on the subject matter that you want to speak on, so be gracious about it. And one way to be gracious about it is to attend the conference. Get to know the organizers, ask questions, engage with them online. I went to an event recently where I met someone who did the whole in 5 minutes pitching me about speaking at the event. And then the next day, when I asked them to join the tokenomics Telegram community, they said they don't just join random Telegram communities. I was like, hold on a second. You want to speak at my event, but you won't join my Telegram community. Got it. So definitely engage online leading up to the event. Just stay top of mind. And whatever you do, never, ever, ever, ever say this to a conference organizer. I only attend conferences I speak at. Oh my God. This supposed to make me want to put you on stage? Like, literally my conference lady boner like deflates and inverts itself back into a vagina. Like, I can't with that statement, honestly. Here's what you think you're saying when you say that to me. I get invited to so many events that I'm just so popular and I'm really hot right now. You know that I can only attend the events I speak at. What you're actually saying to me, though, is, let me go back. What you're actually saying to me, though, is this baby, this thing that is your life, your passion, your soul, I don't perceive it as high value enough to even attend, but yes, please put me on your stage, pay for my accommodation, my flights, and my food, like hook it up. So yeah, that doesn't work. It doesn't have the desired effect that you think it does. Okay. So in the meantime, if it is a no, definitely practice your public speaking. You can host a local workshop. If you don't have like a snazzy demo reel, you can go host a local workshop and record yourself and then get someone in the audience to give a testimonial of your presentation and put that on a speaking website. You can join your local Toastmasters, or you can read this awesome book, Talk Like Ted, by Carmine Gallo, I think is how you pronounce it. There's things that you can be doing in the meantime. And then, of course, please, no divas. being polite and being humble will take you very far in this industry, because the egos, oops, man, I'm just like all over the place, guys. Just like 2 sips. Okay. The egos are huge in this space, right? Which is fine. We like confident people. But definitely be accessible. If you're hard to reach, like these are things that we're going to be taking notes on, whether or not we want to work with you again in the future. So just have good manners. And then, nope. Okay. So next, some best practices for during the event. If you're a keynote, you want to make sure that you craft a really compelling talk. This is not an opportunity to just wing it. You want to make sure that you are telling your story as well. This should be a talk that only you can give, so make sure that you're injecting your personality into it and try to incorporate a little bit of humor or tell some stories. And then finally, don't shill, be chill, okay? We can all remember that, right? We don't like shilling. If you're a panelist, you want to be a team player. Bring some anecdotes and some stats to sprinkle in to kind of spice up the panel a little bit. Research your other panelists so that you can kind of figure out how to bring them into a conversation or reference them. And finally, don't be a mic hog. This isn't your keynote, it's a panel, so nobody likes a mic hog, right? And then during the event, make sure that you're selling yourself. So usually before the conference, there's a few meetups and a few networking parties that you can attend. Definitely don't miss those. Go there. Conference organizers like to see their speakers at their events, and just tell people to come attend your talk. And if we see butts in seats when you're on stage, we interpret that as, attendees are getting a ton of value out of you speaking. We want to work with you again in the future. And then some best practices for after the event is definitely, it's nice when there's a little bit of gratitude shown. Send some thank you notes to people that helped get you on stage. Thank your moderators if you're panelists, because the moderators have to put in a lot of work and research to kind of make sure that good conversation is flowing. And they basically do that to make you guys look good as panelists. So definitely send a thank you note there. And if it's your first time speaking at that event, after your talk, follow up with the conference organizers and ask for feedback. This demonstrates to us that you care about how people perceived your talk and that you're willing to take that feedback and grow with it. So in a nutshell, if you're easy to work with before, during, and after, then we are really happy to invite you back. Some A-list tips. Now this is just going to be one slide, but basically, if you're an A-list person, don't assume that just because you have a large following that you are a ticket seller. I think if you're going to quote a really high speaking fee, I'm totally okay with asking for what you are worth, and I believe that that's what you should be doing. But if you're going to do that, you should be able to back it up. This is not 2017 anymore, guys. These are dark days. So every dollar of our budget counts, and we are really protective of where we spend our money, so we need to know that we're going to get good ROI. So if you are speaking at an event and you know down the road that you want to continue to increase your speaking fee, make sure you're asking for speaker discount codes from the organizers and start tracking your campaigns. And then use that data to then back up why you're asking for what you're asking for, because then people are happy to pay for that. And then the number one tip of all time, this has a 100% efficacy rate, works like a frickin' charm. Just start your own conference, okay? And then, yes, am I right? Yeah, okay? And then you can just stick yourself on stage. It's great. Yeah, just kidding. Don't do that. It's really expensive to throw a conference and a lot of work. So actually, I just recommend that you take some of these tips that you got from this presentation instead, because that's going to be way easier. And yeah, that's it. Thank you, guys. That was my presentation. Did anyone have any questions? Woo, thank you.
Please welcome to the stage is essentially that the internet began printing its own money.